Hey there guys, my name's Kayla. I'm going to be reading a story for you today. I didn't finish it because I wanted to get somebody's perspective on it, but just tell me how you guys like it. It's called The Great Escape.
Sold to the man in the white suit.
It was a bright sunny day in Antebellum, Georgia. The sky was clear and boy was it hot. The girl had just been sold to an owner. She never did have a name. She liked to be called Jenny. She thought it was pretty. No pretty name would save her for what she would be called different names. Nothing would ever stick. A home, a name, even a family. She longed to be loved, to have kids, to have life. The biggest wish was to be free.
Get in the damn truck.
He screamed. His voice was so loud. Once in the truck, there was at least 20 more slaves. Jenny didn't like that word. She liked to call them farm workers. It made her seem like she was going to do something a little more important rather than being told. She already knew the rules. Don't speak unless spoken to. Keep your head down. Never talk back. And if they say you're wrong, you are. And most important, never run. This wasn't anything new to Jenny. She was bought when she was a baby by her mother. From her mother. Her mother was killed after birth. She was warned not to get pregnant or she would be killed. Jenny lived with her pa for a while. It was nice having someone when times were so hard. She missed him so much. He always used to make her smile when there was nothing to smile about, or cradle her when her skin was burnt from the burning sun. She loved him, she missed him, and she never would forget him. It took a long time in the crowded truck to get where they were going. We weren't allowed to talk, but we always did. I asked the woman who had been crying beside me the whole way if she knew where we were going. She looked at me startled and scared, and muttered a few things I couldn't understand, and then started crying again. I began to worry. As I looked around to see everyone's demeanor, it seemed the farm workers were more rattled, more than I have ever seen someone be. Who was this man who had bought me? Should I be nervous as well? Hi there, baby. How old are you? I turned to see an older woman, covered in a knitted blue blanket, with crazy white hair, scooting towards me. I'm Jenny. I'm 9. Who are you? I could see her looking me over, like she was trying to understand something. You can call me Riot. I asked if she knew where we were going. She didn't say a word. She just looked down and played with her hands. Jenny, you listen to me. You stay with me. Do you understand? I will protect you from what's coming if you do. Her voice was strict and firm. Now, I was terrified. It was pitch black when we arrived. I was asleep. I had fallen asleep on Riot. She was so comfy. She shared her small blanket with me. It was very big, but she let me have most of it. I was cradled in her arms when the door slammed open, and everyone in the truck woke right away. Get out, now, let's go, hurry, go, go, go. The noise was so scary. Riot saw. She stood and held me up. We got out together, but the man grabbed my arm when I started to get out. I screamed as my arm suddenly felt tight and it burned with sensation. I tried to move, but he grabbed tighter. Don't move, he demanded. I stopped and stared at Riot. I could see in her eyes she was demanding me not to fight. I knew if they even thought I was trying to fight, I would be punished. The adults and children were separated. There weren't many kids. Most were older and bigger. We were led to a tiny cabin with only 4 beds and 6 kids. There was only a little bathroom with only a toilet. There was also a wooden burning stove and a fireplace. It made sense, since it was almost to become autumn. The man told us to stand up straight when he was speaking to us, and then he told us the rules.
Rule 1.
Don't speak unless spoken to. Rule 2. Do what you're told. Rule 3. Know your routine. Fail to remember it, and you will be punished. And rule 4, never run. You run, you die. He told us what our routine would be, and it was simple. It sounded easy. To me, the other kids looked nervous, as if they even messed up once, they knew what was to come. Our routine would be wake up by dawn and get our work clothes on. Then do your tasks. You can stop when the sun is the highest in the sky for lunch, but then you get back to work. If you are found out of your work zone, you would be punished. If you choose to communicate with any of what we called the privileged, you would be punished. Don't speak to anyone while working, or you guessed it, you will be punished. And last, you may leave when the bell has been rung. If you leave sooner, your work tasks, tomorrow you must get them done or be punished. I knew I had to follow these tasks in order to get through the days, so I would try to make the best something out of it. The bright sun shined through the uncovered windows. The sun kissed my face with warmth as the beam of light shined upon me. I could smell sweet porridge. My mouth watered as I could basically taste it on my tongue. I hadn't eaten in at least 4 days. You don't eat when you're in the bidding process. You get scraps of bread. You get one when you start, and you get one when you leave. I started to sit up when I felt someone touch my shoulder. I looked back to see Riot smiling at me with a steamy bowl of food. "Porridge?" she asked. I nodded back with a smile. She told me to eat up and get into my work clothes, so I wasn't late. I basically shoved the porridge down my throat in hunger. It was so good, warm and sweet. It had ripe blueberries, as sweet as honey. Once I was done, Riot was already waiting at the end of the table with my work clothes. "Would you like help putting on clothes?" "I would love help," I replied. She took off my shoes. They had a big old hole in it, but they were my only pair. Sometimes I could wiggle my big toe out of them, and it would make the other kids giggle. Next was my pants, and then my shirt. The shirt that was once white, but now was black. As she took it off, she noticed my arm. "What the hell is that?" "I don't know," I replied. "I have had it since birth." We both stared at the white pattern lengthening up my arm, like a snake grasping its clutches onto it. "Okay, just make sure they don't see it. I don't want you to be punished. It's not normal. Now go before you're late." The sun beat down my dark hair. I picked a couple more cotton pieces from the bushes. It was so soft, I thought it would feel like a cloud. I never felt a cloud before, but I always dreamed of flying through the air with my hands spread out, like a beautiful bird, with bright blue and pink and yellow wings, being as free as I could possibly be.
"Work faster!"
The man on the horse screamed. Well, back to work. I have to stop daydreaming so much. I hated the guy that rode the horse. He was very mean. Yet again, they all were, making us do all the work as they sit playing in the shade under a big oak tree on the top of the hill. You could see the children playing and giggling as one tagged the other. I wanted to join so badly, but I knew I was forbidden, and they would never accept me as a person, only as what they called me, the cotton picker. I learned very quickly that the rules at my last home, when I was caught talking to a little toddler while I was supposed to be doing dishes. I was beat. I had no food for 3 days. I don't regret it. The little boy was so precious. His name was Jonathan. He had a big blue eyes and blonde hair like straw, and a smile that could win any heart. He was the only person like them that ever smiled at me, been kind to me. I touched his hand when his parents looked away, and then came his big wide smile as he squeezed my finger. That was a distant memory. I knew it would soon fade as time grew, just like the other memories I once had. Before I could think of another sweet memory to keep my mind from the blisters on my hands and the heat of the deadly sun, the bell rang. which meant lunch. I put down my basket of overflowing cotton and I ran to my bunk to receive lunch. I tried not to run too fast in case I startled the horse. As I ran by, he was such a pretty white horse. I ran up on the door to smell vegetables. I sat at the table and out came Riot from the restroom. "Hungry, darling?" "Yes, of course," I replied with a giggle. I like Riot's food. We only had vegetables in a small portion of jars with pasta, honey, and delicious peaches in our cupboards. I asked what we were having. Mama Riot's secret soup. I was intrigued. "What's so secret about it?" I asked. "Well," she replied, "it has magic powers. It makes you strong and healthy." I couldn't wait to taste this amazing soup she spoke of. I really liked Riot. She made me happy. She made me feel safe. I hadn't felt this way in a long time, ever since what happened with Papa. I still remember it like it was yesterday. It keeps me up at night as it replays in my head over and over again as his arm rips away from me. I knew he could never hear me screaming for him to come back. As they dragged him away, his last words were, "Do what they say. I love you, Jin Jin. Be brave." I wiped a tear away as Riot placed a wooden bowl full of amazing smelling soup in front of me. The scent of the soup was overwhelming. I dug in. The taste was so warm and sensational as I gulped it down in one slurp. "Riot, can I ask you something?" "Of course, darling. What is it?" "Will you protect me?" Riot turned around when I asked. She stared at me for a second. "Jenny, I want to tell you a story." She sat down in the chair next to me and held my hands. I knew the story was not going to be a good one by the sad look in her eyes. She had the same look I had for Papa, longing for someone or something to just come back and never go ever again. "When I was a little girl, I saw my mother beaten by the white men who owned us. I had screamed as one held me down and the other had killed her. I lost her that day. I grew older, had a husband, and had a daughter named Akia. She was a lot like you. She was strong. I tried to protect her from the evil that was upon us, until one day a white man grabbed her. He grabbed her and he never let her go. I lost her that day as too. I will protect you, Riot, and I will never let you go. I will protect you from the white men who reign upon us." Well, that's all I had so far. I know I kind of leave you guys with the cliffhanger, but tell me how you guys like it. I really hope to hear some comments from you. So yeah, thank you.